Hey everyone, I'm DK.
And I'm Periodic Gamer.
And we're here reviewing the Justice League movie that just came out.
And you should be excited.
So, Jason, the Justice League, good or bad?
Good.
All right. Thanks everyone for joining us. This has been our review of Justice League.
To enter the giveaway, just go ahead and leave a comment.
Yeah. No, okay, good. Provisionally good, though.
Provisionally good.
I would agree.
This was good in reference to other DC movies.
Okay.
I think as a whole, this was still below the average when compared to like a Marvel movie.
Okay, so you'd say better than, like, Batman v Superman, better than Man of Steel?
Definitely better than like anything including Superman previously.
Okay.
Like this is the second best DC movie recently. I think just below, not just below Wonder Woman, but below Wonder Woman.
Okay. Like a decent way below Wonder Woman?
A pretty decent way.
Okay.
A pretty decent way.
Okay.
You know, this movie it's definitely pretty good, but like it has some flaws.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, I felt the same way. Honestly, I love DC movies. I was one of the, not necessarily few, but one of those that loved Batman v Superman.
Yeah, you're really into that movie.
Yeah, I love it. Man of Steel, love that movie. Even Suicide Squad, which I feel is the most flawed of those they put out so far, had some great things that I loved about it. This one, honestly, first impressions, little bit disappointed because I could tell what they were trying to do and a lot of it worked, but a lot of it also didn't work. But it was still a good entry into the series.
Yeah, this movie could have done very well to be like two movies.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit first about what did work. Okay, so for me personally, I love the characters, with the exception of Steppenwolf. Okay,
Not a fan.
But the League itself, I loved all of them, and I loved them working together. Mm-hmm. So anytime any of the Justice League are on screen, and their interactions, the way that they joke around with each other, it's just a very fun team dynamic that they've got going. Let's see. Other highlights include the action sequences, although when we get to negatives, I'm also going to bring up the action sequences.
I actually have one for both categories too.
Yeah, go for it.
The pacing of this movie.
Yes.
I really appreciated how this movie did not like stop to go out of its way to explain what's going on to you. Like,
Okay.
it very rarely, I think one time at the very beginning of the movie is like, oh my God, here's who Steppenwolf is and why you care. And then they never did it again.
Here's one little flashback where we're going to explain the backstory with Steppenwolf. Never again. You don't need that information 3 times over.
Yeah, because if you're not a DC fanboy, you don't really know who Steppenwolf is. I guarantee most of that audience, this was the first time they'd heard the name Steppenwolf.
Right, right. So what else would you say as far as some of the real positives for the movie?
I think the humor worked very well in this movie as well.
Okay, not too much?
Not too much. I think this movie found a really nice balance where, like, especially the interactions with Aquaman. Like, from the previews, I was really worried that he was going to be a little too much of a clown.
Yeah.
But man, oh God, he's so hunky and perfect, this movie. Like, I'm really
Wow.
excited for Aquaman.
That's some hot man love you got going on there.
Like, Blake Shelton won Sexiest Man Alive, but I'm not certain how with Khal Drogo just, like, saving the sea.
Okay, that's fair. I really liked some of the secondary characters. I thought that J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon was pretty good. Amber Heard as Mara, we see, like, not enough of to get a solid impression.
Yeah.
I can't forget I can't remember the actor's name, but the guy who plays Silas Stone, Victor Stone's father.
Yeah.
I thought he did a decent job. Amy Adams as Lois Lane. She always gives like a decent performance at least. I didn't feel like this was exceptional, but it was decent. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what didn't work with this film?
Ben Affleck as Batman.
Really?
I don't know what it is. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't like the way Ben Affleck has been playing Batman in these last movies. He's always doing his gruff Batman voice, even when he's not in costume. Like, Ben Affleck's voice is always I'm gonna protect the city, even when I'm just, Bruce Wayneing around.
like he talks in a low voice. It's not like a rough Batman voice. He's not doing like the Christian Bale Batman.
Is that his real voice?
I mean, when he's serious, probably.
Oh
Like
my
I've
God.
seen him in other movies where when he's talking low and serious, like that's his voice.
I think the problem is the Dark Knight movies have been my favorite DC movies, or Batman iteration especially in general.
Okay.
And so Christian Bale's Batman is just the holy standard to compare things to. I want it to be that.
Okay. I suppose that's fair. Personally, I would put him on the plus side.
Okay.
I liked him a lot.
I have to harp on one little thing.
Yeah, go for it.
I think the biggest problem is I break character every time they pan to him standing awkwardly. His costume makes him look really fat. Like he has a few chins going on, and that he can't turn his head. He always looks like he's encumbered in this costume.
Well, I mean, that's probably true.
Yeah.
I personally didn't notice that.
Okay.
I thought that
You're gonna notice it when you watch it again.
the actors and their costumes looked amazing. I mentioned Steppenwolf before. First of all, his voice, they've got it like digitally distorted.
I love that.
It sounded pretty good. Like he sounds very powerful and otherworldly. But there are a few lines where I'm like, I have no idea what he just said.
It's the Bane problem from
Yeah.
from Dark Knight Returns Rises.
Yeah, it's a bit of that. He didn't look that great. The CG on Steppenwolf was not awesome.
Really?
And yeah, yeah, there were definitely some moments where I'm like, he looks like a phenomenal video game villain.
Whoa! Ouch. Okay. All right. All right.
That was a little distracting. Also, he's not a character. He comes in, he beats up a bunch of people. He has this goal that like you don't really care about. With earlier villains, like Zod from Man of Steel, you really get a sense of his villainy and why he does things. And I think one of the issues with this is because they're introducing so much of the League. They're introducing Aquaman, they're introducing the Flash, introducing Cyborg. You don't have time for an interesting villain. You only have time to set up the League.
So I think that halfway speaks to why they chose Steppenwolf for the villain of this movie, because Steppenwolf is not a difficult villain to understand. You can explain his backstory in a single flashback. It's that he is entitled to Earth and wants, to subserviate anyone who lives there. I think because they had so many League members to introduce here, which I'm not saying that's okay, that it's good, but
Yeah.
I think that's why Steppenwolf is the villain here. I think it worked for this movie. I think if this had been Darkseid, this movie would have been much worse.
Well, aside from, oh, I'm a bad guy that wants to conquer, there's no motivation.
And I think I'm going to piggyback on your point here.
Yeah.
Cyborg is one of my favorite DC superheroes, like second to Batman.
Yeah.
I think this movie does an extreme injustice to him because his backstory is so tragic and, for lack of a better word, fun. Like it's a good backstory for a superhero. And
Right.
like this, even especially with the Flash too, they like introduce a bunch of important superheroes and we get nothing on them.
Yeah, and I'm fine waiting for their solo outings for that. I didn't mind that as much. But I do kind of feel like if you'd introduced them in solo movies first, kind of like with Marvel and the Avengers. And I hate to draw that Marvel DC parallel because trust me, I'm a DC fanboy through and through.
And see, I prefer Marvel, so I'd rather DC just start doing the Marvel formula.
Yeah, I'm okay with them doing their own thing, but it's hard to introduce these characters that are so like complex and they've got a rich comic book history and everything, and then we just like throw them together.
And this movie had so much going on that a lot of the interactions between the characters seemed very forced. Like there's a
Okay.
couple times where they like fight with each other in the tension of the drama, but it's like, wait a minute, the point that you're making is kind of out of character for you. It kind of seems like we needed to have a fight right here.
Right. So I just want to mention one more thing, and that's the action sequences, which I said I like, but provisionally. And here's the caveat with that. I didn't like how small scale the fight seemed. For example, the final battle, which we're not going to spoil anything here. In previous films, there were like whole cities at stake. Like you see hundreds of Metropolis people running around in Man of Steel and people being like crushed by buildings and stuff like that. And like The civilian population in the final battle here is basically just one family. It felt, instead of it being like, oh, the world's at peril. Oh, look, Steppenwolf is coming in and lives are at stake. It just felt like, oh, here's a little small scale fight against this guy who's got, conquering sort of issues.
Mm-hmm.
The stakes didn't feel real.
Yeah.
Anyway, other than that, it's a decent movie, but
I was never bored in this movie, and that is unfortunately uncommon for DC movies of late.
Okay, so our system that we're going to be doing for these reviews is it worth paying to see? Is it worth seeing for free? Or is it just not worth seeing at all? And I would say that it's worth paying to see. What would you say?
This is worth paying money to see. It's very close for me.
You'd almost say just watch it for free.
I'm almost there. I felt like this movie could have been a lot better.
Okay.
So hopefully they use this money that I'm saying they deserve to continue to make movies like Wonder Woman and make better movies like this.
Okay. So as you're all aware, we're also doing a giveaway with this.
Woo.
In order to qualify for that giveaway, first of all, you have to be subscribed to our channel, and you need to leave a like and a comment on this here video. You have 1 week in order to accomplish that, so...
You have 1 week, Batman.
Exactly. Like and comment on this video, and we will, throw all of the commenters and likers into a hat, a digital hat, hit the randomize button, and one of you will be named the winner 1 week from today.
Cool.
Anything to add?
Please also make sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Hazards of Media.
Check out our website, hazardsofmedia.com.
And just, enjoy the movie.
Be excellent to one another.
Be the me that believes in you.
No. Your follow-up line is, and party on, dudes. Come on, we were doing Bill and Ted's.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to go watch Bill and Ted's right now.
We'll be doing a review for that. There'll be the Bill and Ted Funko Box giveaway next week.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Bye, everybody.